So, um, did you ever realize the impact that field trips actually have on all of us? I'm going to explain the value of school field trips when we're young. I have a younger cousin named Joey, and he's 5. It's his first year in kindergarten, and they're going to the pumpkin patch next week. He has never been more excited for anything in his life so far. He has not stopped talking about it, and he's super excited, and I love seeing him like that. Field trips were always my favorite part of elementary school, not because we got to lead the class, but because I got to take my mom with me, and we got to bond, and we got to learn new things together, and it's kind of what made me think about being an elementary school teacher to begin with. When I see him now, every time I go visit his house, he plays teacher with his younger sister and our other younger cousin. And I can see that the impact that that classroom that he has was my classroom when I was in kindergarten, teacher he has, my teacher when I was in kindergarten. And it just reminds me why I chose the career in the first place. Years from now, sooner or later, I don't know, depending on you guys, but more than likely we're all going to have kids of our own, and they're going to come home and they're going to be excited about a field trip, and you get to relive those memories through them that you had when you went on field trips. To further explain the value of field trips, I'm going to describe the socializing benefits, the knowledge gained by being outdoors, and the understanding and remembering involving conscious mental activities that the field trips bring. Field trips have many more benefits than than other people actually grasp. When they think of field trips, they think kids are just leaving a classroom. It doesn't matter, like they're probably going to go to the park or something. But just that has an effect on kids. A benefit can be as simple as breaking out of their shell that kids are instinctively in, because at such a young age, you really only know your family. This is the age that you're learning to make friends. This is the age that you're learning to talk to people. Eric Cedric stated that some social benefits kids learn while on field trips is learning politeness and how to act appropriate if they go to a museum, learning how to ask questions when they go to a zoo about the animals, about people, about anything really. And even they learn how to share space and to respect one another's space on the bus, just on the way to the field trips. Field trips can also improve a children's speech. It doesn't just have to be socially, like it has benefits that students learn to respect one another, but it can have a critical impact on them enough to learn their speaking, I can't even speak. They learn how to speak better through experiences when they have to ask questions, when they have to be more social. Field trips can provide teachers with the chance to use vocabulary lists. They can prepare words that they're going to learn while they're out and have them study them further, knowing what they're going to be talking about. Field trips have social benefits, but they also just the fact that they get to leave the classroom has a benefit itself. The knowledge of being outdoors, the knowledge that is gained from being outdoors, is endless, really. Science is a subject where it's really all outdoors. You can't just learn it from a textbook. When studying plants, students learn better when it's hands-on work. You can show them a leaf in a textbook, but they're not going to know what tree it came from unless they saw it fall out. Another subject that being outdoors helps is art. And that brings them to the effect that they can see flowers, they can see trees, they can see mountains when they're outside. Not to mention, if they go to an art museum, they get the chance to learn about the artists themselves. Another thing that field trips bring is the motivation of learning. When on field trips, the knowledge that you learn researchers have data that show increased motivation for learning when they go on field trips. Learning from a classroom is good too, but when you get to put what you know from watching a small plant grow to being outdoors in the woods where you get to see where that plant will end up growing to, the size, the area, the soil, all of that, you learn more. Children gain more from field trips than people really know. Field trips have nothing but benefits to children's mind and learning experiences when it connects from the classroom to the actual field trip itself. In conclusion, field trips can help kids form the social skills they need and the fact that nature plays a bigger part outside than it does in a textbook needs to be shown to kids at such a young age so they know what they want to do. They know how to the field trips have cognitive benefits, helping kids understand what they've learned from the classroom and putting them into real experiences. Think years from now, when most or all of you have kids and they're attending grade school, they'll come home with a permission slip to a history or science or art museum, and with an excited smile and eager eyes, they're going to ask you to sign it. When you see their big smile and their enthusiastic eyes, realize that you're looking back at yourself when you were a young age, because that's exactly what you looked like when you went up to your parents.
Steve, you're not here, are you?
Yeah, Steve went.
Oh, did you just come in?
Yeah.
Did you hear the speech?
No.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit tough. All right. The rhetorical question at the beginning is a little light. I like the story of your cousin, I think, a little bit more effectively. I thought that you did a nice job kind of creating some energy and interest in that. Your delivery, I think, needs to be a bit more consistent like that throughout the presentation. Sometimes it feels a little bit dry, especially at the end when you come back to that sense of wonder and excitement of the kids. I think you want to work on getting your voice to portray that sort of attitude as well. The topics identified, I thought you had a very clear statement of what your goal was. There's a nice personal justification as well as a social justification for the topic. There's a good, excuse me, a pretty good preview, although the phrasing of some of the supporting points is a little bit awkward, especially your third one in the preview. I wasn't quite sure where that was going. It was a little bit clearer when you got into the body of the speech. Except for the one source citation in the body of the speech talking about the learning benefits and the power of doing that, I didn't really hear a lot of research, and I'm sure that there was some additional research in the presentation, but the sources are not making it into the oral part of the presentation. The explanation seemed pretty reasonable. It seems like it would be helpful if there's a demonstration that these things improve kids' ability to learn something. Is there either some statistic on testing or the willingness of kids to try careers or opportunities that could be associated with this. Any information like that, I think, might have strengthened that point a little bit. The basic structure was easy to follow. The signposts, I think, were a little abrupt. Sometimes it just felt like we took a left turn into the topic, and it needs to be smoother than that. The visual materials, they're shown at appropriate times. There's not a whole lot of extra information there. It mostly is transition and background information. It doesn't add much to the knowledge of the subject. Sometimes I think your images could be a little bit more intense. That's probably just a color thing, and if we turned out the lights, they would all look spectacular, I'm sure. Like I said about the presentation before, I think you're a little bit low-key and you need to get some more, you don't need to shout and dance and all that kind of stuff, but you're talking about something that you think is pretty important and fun. And when you talked more about the excitement of the little kids going on the field trip and kind of relating it to your own experience, you need to be more consistent like that, because that I thought was the best part of the delivery of your speech there in the first couple of minutes. The pages look a little big in your hands, and whenever you're in doubt, you just kind of go back to reading instead of talking to us, and that's a crutch that you'll want to get rid of. All right, thank you.